It's time for Righties Rage. More mayonnaise, please. In today's video, this is exactly what I've been talking about when I say that some of the Republican Party, the far right, will bend the knee and kiss dictator Trump's ring. We have a senator on the floor that is giving praise to Donald Trump with nothing but lies and screwed up facts. He must be jockeying for a higher position because his nose is so brown, you would think he had a tan.
President, Senator from Indiana. Mr. President, 10 years feels like a lifetime ago. In May of 2015, I had just returned from serving a tour in Afghanistan and had just started my campaign, my very first campaign for Congress. But not even a few weeks later, on this day, June 16th, 10 years ago today, Donald Trump came down that golden escalator in Trump Tower in New York City and changed American politics forever. He took the Republican Party and the country by storm, and our country is better off for it. No one in the history of this country has dominated American politics for an entire decade like Donald Trump has, and it has been a wild ride. The Republican...
Who wants to bet he took his family and rode down that exactly same escalator as if it was some kind of carnival ride? I guarantee he rode down that escalator 2 or 3 times because he felt proud, felt like he was in President Trump's shoes.
The party is better off because of that. Our country is better off today because of that too. Remember when President Trump came down that golden escalator, we were in the political wilderness. Republicans hadn't won a national election in 12 years. And Republican experts, you might recall, gathered in 2013 to do an autopsy report. And what did they say? They said the best way to win a national election was to embrace amnesty. Boy, were they wrong. Mr. President, it may seem like a lifetime ago, but it wasn't too long ago when Republicans and Democrats in this chamber were working together to pass so-called comprehensive immigration reform, or also known as amnesty. Remember the Gang of Eight. But President Trump shifted us away from that ideology and that mindset. He changed the Republican Party from one that wanted to pass amnesty to one that would fight to save jobs from illegal labor. Donald Trump was the first Republican in my lifetime to say that immigration should put the interest of the American workers first and foremost. It's one of the reasons that he was so different from other Republicans back in 2015 and 2016 when he came down that escalator talking about putting American workers first. It turns out, Mr. President, that all working class voters, whether they were black or white, Latino or Asian, all they wanted was a shot at the American dream for themselves and their kids, just like every other generation of Americans had before them. And today, the new Republican Party is that multiracial working class coalition thanks to Donald Trump. Working class Americans are now the backbone of the GOP. And those are the men and women that President Trump stands up for every day and fights for, and I'm proud to stand up with him. And it wasn't that long ago as well that leaders in both the Republican and the Democrat Party ignored the fact that China was ripping off our country and stealing jobs from American workers. Those same experts who assured us that allowing China into the World Trade Organization and establishing permanent normal trading relations with China would gradually turn the communist China into a liberal democracy. Once again, they couldn't have been any more wrong than what they were. The political class completely ignored Communist China's ambition to destroy our manufacturing base. For decades, they stood by and watched as China stole our American technology, copied our products, broke trade rules, and built entire industries on the backs of slave labor. They supported a trade system that made our country poor and more dependent on our enemies abroad. President Trump, from the moment he came down that golden escalator, recognized that this was a bad deal for American families, workers, and for our national security. In fact,
and why does he keep saying golden escalator as if he came down from heaven? This man is so far up Trump's trousers, he probably could tell us the stitching.
At one of his very first campaign stops in Fort Wayne, Indiana, where I'm from, he used stronger language about China than any other political leader before him. In his first term, President Trump rewrote the national security strategy and named China a national security threat for the very first time. And this time around, President Trump's trade agenda is working. His tariffs are already bringing back manufacturing jobs to the U.S. and encouraging companies to invest trillions in American manufacturing and getting out of China instead. In the last few months, thanks to this president's America First agenda, we've seen Honda announcing that they're going to build their next generation Civic in Greensburg, Indiana. General Motors announced it would increase truck production in Fort Wayne. Eli Lilly plans to invest $27 billion in American manufacturing. Novartis also just announced a $23 billion investment in their American facilities, creating more good-paying jobs for Hoosiers.
And as I said before, this is all concepts. Until they actually build, you cannot comment on what they're supposedly going to do. That's how you build momentum. But you can build as much momentum as you can. If it doesn't happen, it doesn't happen. So throwing out these numbers about people that's supposedly going to build in the country does not help until the building, the brick and mortar, is actually on the ground.
President Trump's policies are strengthening Americans' economy and bringing critical manufacturing back home while weakening China's economy. Imports from China have already dropped 35%, and China's economy is struggling because of it. And President Trump has got their attention. The Chinese are begging him to make a deal. He is the first president you see in my lifetime to understand China's economic and military threat. Every president before President Trump played footsie with China. But President Trump is the only person tough enough to be in that negotiating room with Communist China. We finally have a president who is putting American workers and their families that they provide for first. Our country is stronger and more secure because of it. No other president since Reagan has done more to protect our national security. President Trump projects peace through strength and puts the American people's interests first in our foreign policy as well. He is rebuilding our national defense and our industrial base after his predecessors depleted it. He got our NATO allies to step up to the plate and invest more in their collective defense when other presidents tried and failed to do the same thing. And President Trump is the greatest peacemaker of my lifetime. He is the only president not to get our country into a new war in the last 4 decades. Our enemies respect us again. They fear us. Our allies respect us. The American foreign policy is working because President Trump rejected the failed thinking of the past.
This man is the perfect Republican. If you want to grow your kids grow them up to be Republicans. This is the perfect model. This, to quote the Game of Thrones, this man is no Jon Snow. He is ready to kiss the ring. He will bend down. If there's a puddle on the ground, he will lay in the puddle so that President Trump can step on his back and get over the puddle and doesn't get his shoes wet. This man is 100% Republican down to his red tie.
Mr. President, I thank God that President Trump came down that escalator 10 years ago today. It is a date that we should all mark on our calendar and never forget. American politics hasn't been the same since. I don't think it ever will be again, and for the better. And for all the reasons that I've already mentioned, our country is stronger and more united today. Our workers and families are better off. Our streets are safer, and opportunity and the American dream is within reach. The American people are charting our country's future again. Not China, not the elites, not multinational corporations, the American people. It's a new direction, and it never would have happened without President Trump's leadership and coming down that escalator 10 years ago today. Mr. President, I'm proud to stand with President Trump. I yield back.
Okay, that was, oh boy, he waited all day for that. That was beautiful. Now, since he talked about we're stronger and the country is more committed than ever, let's read some of the comments that people have to say. Let's see, one of the first comments: in my 72 years, I haven't seen this country as divided as it is now. Even during the Vietnam War, there were divisions, but nowhere near what we see today. The next comment: what an incredible and potent lack of facts. Economy down, prices up, Republican violence incentivized by partners, international situations worsening after alienating all allies, economy and geopolitical companies going bankrupt as a result of tariffs. In what sense are we stronger? You see what I'm saying? I'm not the only one. Our country is united. His president makes a daily point to demonize close to half the nation in his speeches. There is no such thing as the left to him. It's always radical left. His hatred of non-whites is also on full display. That man does everything he can to drive a wedge between the two sides. This is how the people feel. So this guy up there talking about what he's talking about, when he said it about 20 times, he's coming down the golden escalator as if he's the new Messiah. Oh my goodness. He's the perfect Republican, boy. I'm sure he's going to go far in the next 3 years, boy. He's going to be right under Trump, probably polishing his shoes. Here's another one. United, LOL. He said, united, we join together politically for the common purpose or by common feelings. This country is everything but it is not united. And then here's the last one I'm read you. Trump and ilk used divide and conquer deliberately and very effectively. United we stand, divided we fall. So strong and more united. There is no way, I believe, that this sycophant believes his own words, because we are currently in a free fall. Okay? That's how people feel. The country is not together. We are not united. We're not united on anything. The only people that's united is Trump and his administration and his lackeys, his yes men, his yes people. And that's all I had to say about this video. I'll see you next time. And this is Righties Rage. Oh, we're so angry.